Oh, and this is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome into a glorious Monday morning here, and this is how you get your day started. This is how you get your week started. I miss Afterburn a little bit, but it's in theaters right now. Hopefully, you guys checked it out over the weekend. A tremendously busy weekend, which leads into our busiest day of the week here at BTT Studios. Now, before we get into the schedule, yesterday we do have a Sunday morning show now. And of course, sometimes you got to lead by example. And your boy, 3 out of 4 yesterday, and Jamar Chase and the Cincinnati Bengals, they've got a lot of things to worry about after giving up 48 to the Minnesota Vikings yesterday. Now, our schedule today, we never stop going. Right after we do the morning show here on Stadium and Valley Sports Live, we've got the Coaching Company podcast around 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. And then this afternoon, 2 to 4 Eastern Time, Off the Ropes with the Coach on Sirius XM, channel 156. It was a busy weekend in pro wrestling. And then at the same time on our Coaching Company YouTube channel, it is Weekday Wagers, DG, Mark, Robbie, and the guys. Then at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, the Coach and Bro Show, me and Vince Russo. And then every single Monday during the NFL season, it's the Monday Night Grind. Now, are you going to be the next one to get into the Legends Lounge? Producer Man is in. Mikey P is in. The link will be in the chat. We want you to participate. And if you are a premium member, which you can join at any time, you get a little something extra if you get into that Legends Lounge. Scan that QR code. Not only do you get an extra little episode every day, but we're going to be starting primetime shows on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, emergency shows. You're never going to know unless you're a premium member. Also, we have a full merch store that is up and running. Get yours. Featured item of the day. Model my ass. Oh, Marky Model. And I know we've sold at least one. I have a feeling it's going to show up on the show here in the next couple of days. All right. Housekeeping is done. Coming up on the show, we've got our weekend rewind. Some of the worst bad beats you'll ever see in the NFL. We're going to talk about them. Also, it could be the best Monday Night Football game of the year. And it's in week 3. Lions-Ravens, full breakdown. And then also a devastating injury. A couple actually happened yesterday in the NFL. So, we're ready to go. So is my company. Let's beat the books. Oh, and look at this motley crew that we have today as week 3 of the National Football League wraps up tonight on the Monday Night Grind. Now, let's start with the man right next door to me. His phone had to be blowing up on Sunday. He's our numbers guy for a reason. Say good morning to Rafael Esparza. Good morning, Rafael.
Yeah, a busy day with a little bit of sadness yesterday, but we cashed some tickets. That's all that matters. But it's a new week. That means new winners. That means new stories.
All right, very good. I don't know what we'll talk about the sadness a little bit later on the show. Mr. Zeno, he goes by one name, and that is Zeno. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach. Good morning, everybody. If there's a lesson to be learned in one of the worst beats that I've seen, maybe even ever, in a very, very long time, is that if you don't listen to Raf's little tidbits, okay, if you ignore those, you do so at your own detriment. Because I would have been on the Rams all week, but I saw Raf's tidbit last week of Jalen Hurts, 15-2 ATS, when a home favorite of under a touchdown or less. I went, I'm getting out. I'm out. Stayed off the game, avoided the headache altogether, kept what was left of my hair and money in my pocket. Call that a win.
So we don't even need to do weekend rewind now. You just did the whole segment for us right there.
I just wanted to listen to Raf because he's.
I was on the Rams yesterday. We'll get more into that game coming up later on the show. Let's do hellos, gentlemen. Let's do hellos. Speaking of hellos, producer man, do you have something ready for us right now? I don't know if we've got that to come up here or not.
Girls, what do you think of the Cowboys?
They're very disappointing.
Always. 2 thumbs down. 1 for Margo. 1 for
You forgot to take your phone out of your pocket. The ice bucket, not challenge, punishment for your Cowboys laying an egg, 0 points in the second half, and then you had to pay up like that, and then it cost you another $1,000 for a new iPhone. Good morning, DG.
Morning, fellas. Morning, Coach. Yes, it was a devastating loss by the Cowboys, but you can't hurt me. I've been hurt way too many times by then. But yeah, it was a rookie mistake leaving my phone in there. But I told the girls, the Cowboys are going to suck that bad. You got to pay up too.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers are always there. They got your back all the time. That's for damn sure. All right, finally. Now, last night, while the Chiefs were covering, I might add, there was some soccer, and the rest of you weren't paying attention. I was. Chuck, were you? Good morning.
Morning, Coachman Company. The good old MLS coming through. Or as I like to say, the MLS gold mine. It goes underneath, but it sure does produce. So no arguments there. But yeah, big week ahead. And how about those Cowboys refusing to get us over that total? They even brought in the second string, and he threw a pick also. 3 picks into the end zone. Love to see it.
I was on that one too. I was on that play too. How did that over? 38 points at halftime, and you can't get 12 in this 12? 2 interceptions in the end zone, not running it. Okay. I'm giving away weekend rewind now. All right, gentlemen, I want 5 winning days this week, but we can't have that if we don't have the first one. So I have one very simple question, and I think the Ice Bucket Challenge loser needs to go first. DG, big boy, live from Memphis, Tennessee. Best bets, go.
Yeah, let's go to an under, Coach, your favorite. So let's start off with Derrick Henry. We're going to go under the 18.5 rush attempts. That's at plus 100. And if you're wondering, is this stupid? Probably, but I think it's a great play here. He's went under in both games this season. Even when he went off against Buffalo, the Lions, they also only allowed 19-plus rush attempts twice last season. I think he goes under again tonight at plus 100. We'll take this. Let's go to the other side. We're going to go an over for Sam Laporta. We're going over 43.5 receiving yards at minus 113. The Ravens have allowed the tight end 1 to go over this line in both games this season. But last season, this is no fluke. They allowed the top 10 in targets, receptions, and yards all to the tight end position last season. I think they allow Laporta to get his. So all we need is over 43.5 receiving yards at minus 113.
Yeah, I know somebody's got Laporta for the Legends Lounge tonight. Oh, Rafi. You have said what, plus 1,800, plus 1,400?
Yeah, he'll probably get hurt in the first quarter, and you guys all make fun of me.
I played CD Lamb yesterday. I turned the game on. I had to go drop my son off some golf stuff, come back, and CD Lamb's hopping around. I'm like, what, 79.5? I can't cash that? Come on, CD Lamb. All right, Raphael. And Zenos was like, nope. They didn't cash nothing yesterday of your Cowboys. All unders coming in. All right, Raphael, you've got Sam Laporta. I like the flow. Best bets. Go.
Yeah, keep an eye out for this Monday Night Football total. It's probably going to move to 54, maybe 54.5. That's why I like the Ravens team total over 29.5. This probably will go to 30.5 with plus money when most books will get that quickly before that plus money goes bye-bye. Ravens' last 7 Monday night games, 6 of them have gone over the total. I think we see points tonight. And then give me Jahmyr Gibbs over 23.5 receiving yards. This one opened up at 26.5, and it's dropping as I probably speak right now. I say grab it. He's hit this number 7 out of 8. I'm a little bit shocked at the big line movement from the opening number.
This guy is fantastic. We'll be talking about Jahmyr Gibbs coming up in about 30 minutes or so when we break down Monday Night Football. All right, Zeno, coming over to you. What are your 2 best bets today, sir?
I'll stay with Jahmyr Gibbs and my man Raph here, except I'm going over 3.5 receptions. Look, this is probably going to be at 4.5 receptions by the time they get to kickoff. But he's gone over this number in 7 of his last 8 games. Had 9 receptions 2 years ago in the game against Baltimore. In week 2 against Cleveland, the 2 top running backs combined for 8. In week 1, James Cook had 5. Gibbs should go over this number here. And then we're going to go DeAndre Hopkins, longest reception over 13.5 yards. Not a buying guy. Probably only going to get 2 receptions. But he's had 4 receptions combined in week 1 and week 2. He's gone over this number in 3 of them. And the Lions are one of the worst deep ball teams in the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins over 13.5 yards for longest reception.
I think today's got overs written all over them, all over the board. It's just a matter of which ones are going to hit. I love those 2 plays. Exactly. All right, I'm going to go next. There's only 3 baseball games, but I really feel like I'm dialed in after a 3-in-1 day yesterday. 3 games tonight. I'm going to go with 2 of them. When you get Freddie Peralta at plus money against anybody, I'm taking it. The Brewers still have a little bit of motivation, too. They're a 3-game lead over Philadelphia for best record in the National League. That will play into home field, so they still need to play hard. So I think tonight at plus 105 is a great bet. That's at 9:40 p.m. Eastern time. Then there's another late game at 9:45 p.m. Eastern time, and that is the Cardinals and the Giants. I love the Giants tonight, minus 145. They still have a little bit to play for. They've been playing better as of late. They closed the season out with 6 games at home, 3 against St. Louis, 3 against Colorado. Get into the Giants. Justin Verlander on the bump tonight. A little bit juicy. Sometimes the juice, it's worth the squeeze. All right, Big Chuck. I see a little Turkey Super League at our fingertips. Zeno's paying attention. Go.
Day soccer, shall we say. Galatasaray, Konyaspor. Galatasaray, they come in averaging 2.5 team goals at home, while Konyaspor, they score an average of 2.4 team goals on the road, making this our play number 1 of the week. The both teams to score. This one's actually cashed in 5 of their last 8 matchups. Then I'm going to piggyback off that same MLB game. Cardinals, Giants. We have the wind blowing out tonight. Plus, this total is went over in 8 of their last 11 meetings. I'll go ahead and back the over 8 in the Bay.
Over 8 wasn't on the lower third, but we've got the over 8. We'll get that fixed for the end of the show. Thank you, Chuck, very, very much. All right, now look who just showed up. He's got our featured merch item of the day, and I am fired up for what JTS is going to give us today. Marky Model, happy Monday. What do we got today?
Good Monday morning, Coach. Yeah, we're going to start off with another winner. We're going to take St. Louis Cardinals Pedro Pages to go over 1 hit, run, or RBI, something he's done in 7 straight games, and he's gone over this line in 10 of his last 11 road games where he's averaging over 2. We're going to pair that with Jared Goff on an alt line for his passing yards at 220. He's gone over this line in 10 of his last 12 road games, and he's over in 12 of 12 straight, averaging 300 passing yards. Put them both together, you get a plus 112. Just a Stat Sports Play of the day.
I absolutely love it. And if you want to be a part of JTS, we encourage you to do so. The numbers, the tools in your toolbox, unmatched. Scan that QR code. Use our code NFL100. We'll give you the first month for a single solitary dollar. You can get college football and the NFL starting on Tuesdays every single week, and the Major League Baseball, that has been absolutely going crazy. Throughout the week, we'll do pop-ups here on the show to really show you what JTS has and give away a little bit of behind the curtain. Real quick, Zeno, on the Jared Goff play, because I've got some premium plays coming up for our premium members in our little episode. I like Jared Goff tonight. Last week, he went over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. Do you like the play, bringing that number down to 220?
At 220, yes. I mean, you have to look game script wise. If they get behind and they have to throw a lot, that certainly helps them. But if it's back and forth, I think the Lions are going to be throwing the ball more because the Ravens' defensive front is very stout. And again, the Jahmyr Gibbs thing out of the backfield, a lot of extra yards, like the 220 number, definitely.
DG, today on weekday wagers, you guys are going to be right in the middle of the day, about 20 seconds on what you're looking forward to as far as game script, what Zeno just said.
Yeah, we'll be looking at what lines are moving in a sense and trying to see if there's a value on one side or the other. But yes, breaking down a lot of these props as well as looking into the game line with Mark is what we'll do today. So it should be a good show.
I think it will be a great show. 2:00 today, Coach and Company YouTube page. And then, of course, the Monday Night Grind tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Also on the same YouTube page. We're always clocking. We're always popping. All right, best bets in the camp. But we still have a lot to talk about. Yesterday, bad beats across the board. Weekend Rewind coming up in about 5 minutes. Then, across the bottom of the hour, we're talking Monday Night Football, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, all of it on what could be the best Monday night game of the year. Then 2 devastating injuries yesterday. Talk all about it. Coaching Company, presented by the 4-Letter Word Club, live on Stadium. Okay, we're going to keep it right here for this break, and we're going to give the stage to Raphael first and Zeno second. Raphael, you've got 60 to 90 seconds. The floor is yours.
Yeah, yesterday the sportsbook industry took a major hit as my good friend Dave Sherpin passed away from cancer. And DG always says, cancer sucks. This guy was very young, 4 daughters. So I'm representing a jersey and hat like he always did. I got the visor for his 4 daughters, but what a massive hit. And we got close because he had a stroke many years ago, and I've had heart issues. We've always texted each other. Don't forget to do your steps. Dave, I'm going to do my steps today. So rest in peace.
Mr. Zeno.
Yeah, look, it's in the sports betting industry. There's not many people you consider quote friends. It's very, very dog eat dog and maniacal. But Dave Sherapan was a friend, not just to me, but to everybody. This was a man who was a genuine soul, and what was most sort of poignant about yesterday after his passing is everybody was posting pictures with Dave. Everybody had a picture with Dave. That's the kind of guy he was. He would love a conversation with you. He brought light to every room he was in. He loved talking about sports betting. And as Raf said, always very, very typical of him to be wearing a matching hat and jersey of whatever team he was wearing or favoring that day. Pittsburgh native, just a wonderful man, and condolences to his wife and his 3 daughters, and certainly heartbreak for the rest of us.
That is absolutely incredibly tragic. What was his favorite thing, Raphael, to bet on? What was his favorite sport?
Whatever puts money in his pocket was his favorite. But he was an odds maker. Me and him had same paths. He worked offshore, then worked in Vegas. I did the same thing. Worked offshore, worked in Vegas. So we had really, really similar paths. But very sharp guy. One of the nicest guys you can ever talk to.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you guys taking that time today. We'll obviously pull this out and put it on social media too. Like Zeno said, very, very, it's not very often that you have a really good, solid dude in the world of sports betting. So it's nice to hear that. So rest in peace to Dave. We will continue on here on Coach and Company, and we will dedicate the rest of the show to Dave today. We're back live in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. Coach and Company here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. It's our busiest day of the week. Now, I thought after last week in the NFL that we could not have any worse beats than what we had a week ago. Oh, how naive I was. Some of the most shocking endings to football games at the exact time, in the exact moment, live on the air. So today it's going to be a lot of fun. It's time for the Weekend Rewind. All right, gentlemen, there are 1,000 stories that we could have gone with from the Weekend Rewind. But I want to start with Saturday because the group of 5 teams, DG, they don't get a lot of love throughout the season, but there's going to be representation in the playoffs. So where are you headed today?
Yeah, I'm looking at the University of Memphis Tigers, and honestly, they don't get the love, and I get that completely. They are a decently good team. And if you look at it, like you're looking for teams that are good to represent the Power 5, so the other team. But if I look at the coaching, it is Ryan Silverfield, who is the coach there at Memphis. He deserves to honestly have a team in one of the Power 4 conferences. They are 4-0 versus the last Power 4 opponents. They're 4-0 versus the last 4 SEC teams. These are all just outrights, not against the spread, just outright. The program hasn't had a losing season since 2013, and now they have back-to-back seasons with 10-plus wins. The University of Memphis Tigers deserve some love, and I expect them to get the love this year, and they could even run the table and get into the playoffs.
I hope they get better. The Overcash, by the way. But watching players face down on the field crying, overcome with emotion, that to me showed how much not only they wanted this game, but maybe Memphis is dedicated to football as well, DG.
Yeah, they are. And then the late passing of Fred Smith is one. He was one of the biggest donors. He was the biggest donor, but one of the biggest fans of the University of Memphis athletics. And his family has continued to carry that wish on. And so I love that they're putting their money where their mouth is and putting it back into the program. And I think that there's only good things to come for that program for sure.
All right, I agree. All right, Memphis, big win over Arkansas over the weekend. All right, I got to go to my man Zeno next because the Chargers routinely don't get a lot of attention because they're out here on the West Coast. But Zeno, should we be paying more attention?
Yeah, and first, DG, Arkansas stinks. Anyway, you're right about the Chargers. They are a team that continues to sort of be a little bit overlooked when you talk about the best 5 teams in the NFL. And what the Chargers had to do to get to this point is one of the more unfavorable scheduling quirks I've seen in quite some time. Not only is it bad to have to play division games early in the year because you don't know who you are, you're struggling to figure out your systems and your process and everything else. The Chargers had to play not just 2 division games in the first 2 weeks. They played 3 division games in the first 3 weeks, which I've almost never seen, and they won all 3 of them. This is a Chargers team in year 2 of Jim Harbaugh, which is always the bump year. Everywhere Harbaugh is gone, year 2 is the big leap year. They were good last year, good enough to be a playoff team. Now this is a year they're going to take the crown in the AFC West from the Kansas City Chiefs simply because they have a 3-game lead in the division over everybody. And Harbaugh is too good of a coach to relinquish it. And I'll add one more quick note. You want to talk about coaching and why it matters? So far, the Chargers have lost offensive tackle Rashawn Slater. They've lost Khalil Mack. They just lost Najee Harris. Harbaugh is a coach who overcomes all those injuries, and it does not matter about the depth. He's good enough to scheme around it. Chargers are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL right now.
I don't think there's any argument about that. By the way, Khalil Mack is jacked. If anybody saw him on the sidelines, jacked. By the way, Zeno, Sean Payton is one of those coaches, kind of like the head coach of Philadelphia, that if something bad happens to him, you actually enjoy it because he is so unlikable. And to watch him chew on whatever's in his cud, right side of his mouth, and then have to face 2 walk-off losses, usually that doesn't happen in a season. It happened 2 weeks in a row. The Broncos have nobody to blame but themselves.
No, and particularly for their offense, which just kind of sputtered. You know, you thought Bo Nix was going to elevate to the first 3 games. I haven't seen the guy who was the quarterback the latter half of last year by any stretch of the imagination, and Peyton's got to get that fixed pretty quick.
No doubt. They are 1-2 after losses to the Colts, last-second kick, dumb penalty, and then yesterday a 7-point lead, less than 3 to play, and they lose that one as well. Now, Zeno mentioned it at the top of the show. Perhaps the worst bad beat in the history of the NFL. And Raphael, big boy, I'm coming over to you because the flip-flop at that moment in Philadelphia had to be huge. Go.
Working in a back room of a sportsbook, you watch games not by who wins or losses. You watch games by numbers and who's going to cover. And if you watch that Eagles game yesterday, who was losing the whole game? And then I blinked and they won and they covered. And so I start texting boys, hey, what happened in the book? What'd you guys do? Boomers tell me it was a devastating loss for them. Caesars told me devastating loss for them. Just in a black punt or field goal that gets run back as a touchdown. Horrible outcome for the books. Good for me because my stat won 15-2 against the spread for Jalen Hurts. But for the books, wow. How do you watch that and just get your gut just watching a guy run up the ball and your gut just drops? Wow.
My 2 best bets were the Cowboys over and the Rams plus the 5. As I'm watching Big Boy, and then to have the announcers go, I hate to, when the announcers rub it in unexpectedly, when they said for the first time in 17 years, the Eagles have 2 blocked field goals in the single game. I'm like, really? You need to rub that in as Big Boy 350 runs it back to the house? What are the odds?
I was waiting for him to say, and they get the cover as they cross the goal line. I was just waiting.
I would have done that. If I was calling the game, I would have done that. Zeno, go.
There was a similar announcer jinx. Jordan Love hasn't thrown an interception. Right. How did the Packers lose the game on the first pick that he threw all year long?
All year.
Horrible. Terrible.
Horrible. Packers giving 6, by the way. You can't be up 10-3 and do that. Throw that interception.
I bet the Packers first half yesterday, they didn't give up a point and I still didn't cover. It was Packers -4.
Oh, my God. We should have done a show yesterday just on the bad beats. That would have been 3 hours long. just on the bad beats.
49ers.
All right.
What about the 49ers?
Stop it. I'm in a bet with Big Cheesy. Do not bring up the 49ers and the fact that Kyler Murray cannot complete a pass with 2 minutes to go that would have locked the game up. But that's all right. It's a long season, Big Cheesy. It's a long season. Now, my weekend rewind, I'm going to go to Tampa Bay. I'm the biggest Baker Mayfield fan that you're ever going to find. This guy is headbutting his teammates, linemen, I might add, and they are living on the edge of a lightning bolt. They become the first team in NFL history ever in their first 3 games of the season. They have a score in the final minute of the game in order to win the game. At the same time, the Eagles were scooping and score a blocked field goal in Philadelphia. Literally 2 or 3 minutes later, the Jets were doing the same thing after being down 23-6 to start the fourth quarter. How does Tampa Bay not cover, given the 4.5? How does that? Well, when you have a blocked field goal, scoop and score, and then Tampa comes down and they kick a field goal to win by 2. It allows for little nuggets like that. DG, what did you make of Tampa giving the Jets their second 2-point loss this season as well?
I love Tampa. I have questions about them because I love Baker Mayfield. Abukta, his wide receiver. Evans has played well. They're going to get Godwin back. But are they frauds? Because I know coming back late into a game, like these aren't big opponents that they're going up against. You're talking about the Falcons and now the Jets. Like, is this going to catch up to them at some point? Because they're allowing these teams to stay in with them in the first half, if not be leading at halftime.
All right, Zeno, you shook your head no, and then Raphael will come to you.
Part of the reason why they allow these teams to get back in it is because their coaches are very good and Todd Bowles. And it's one of these things where Baker Mayfield has to overcome. And that's really something that when you can learn to play around your coach as a team and the situations that you get in. And plus, I think that Tampa Bay is only going to get better. Their defensive up front is one of the best in the league. They got to work on the secondary, but a lot of talent all across the board for that team.
By the way, Mike Evans out with another hamstring injury. That hamstring never gets healthy. Raphael, do you agree with what Zeno just said?
Yes, even though their coaching sucks, but Baker Mayfield's the coach on the field, and you can see what he does on offense. And they play in the worst division of football, the Saints. I think the Seahawks just scored, and the Panthers win against the Falcons yesterday. Give me a break. That division sucks.
Wow. Carolina 30-0. When you got to bring in Kirk Cousins off the bench because Michael Penix can't complete a pass. Oh, geez, my boy in hot Atlanta. Zeno, why are you so happy?
Because it's going to be fun at the Raheem Morris press conference today.
Are we going to hear your voice? Because we got to play it tomorrow on the show. We're going to hear your voice?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Mikey, get on now. We need to have that sound from the – he's one of those guys just like Todd Bowles that is not meant to be a head coach, and he's gotten 2 chances. Sometimes you're a good coordinator. Sometimes you're not a good head coach.
Yep.
It is what it is. One other nugget that didn't get talked about yesterday, Indianapolis. We only got about 60 seconds. Right now, the comeback player of the year or the MVP, is it Danny Dimes? DG? Danny Dimes? Another big game.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind. But in all honesty, the guy who he's handing the ball off to and Jonathan Taylor is playing on another level. He is the best running back in the game currently. He might fall off, but through 3 weeks, Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the game.
20 seconds, Zeno. Is Jonathan Taylor the best right now?
I wouldn't go so far as to say he's the best. That Saquon Barkley guy might have a conversation about that. But
hold my beer.
all that said, I mean, the Colts have a really good roster, and they've had a good roster. They just haven't had any consistency at quarterback over the last 3 years. Now it looks like they found their guy, and things look pretty good.
All of a sudden, Anthony Richardson is like, didn't think I was going to be a backup.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, there you go. All right, gentlemen, really good job on the Weekend Rewind. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have more at both of the breaks as well. All right, coming up on the other side, perhaps the best Monday night game of the entire year is tonight. 2 teams that absolutely feel like they are Super Bowl caliber teams. We're going to find out. We'll break it all down on the other side. It's Coaching Company presented by the 4-letter word club. Ryder Cup is this week. We are live on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. All right, boys, it ain't pretty, but they're getting the job done at least 2 out of the first 3 weeks. DG, let me start with you, because Aaron Rodgers, another, as far as statistics are concerned, poor game, 139, did have 2 touchdowns and a big pass with about 2 minutes to go, and then Drake May couldn't get his team to go back down and have the tying touchdown. Were you impressed with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers? 21-14, they win yesterday.
I wouldn't say I'm impressed with the Steelers in general or even Aaron Rodgers, but he's doing enough to keep you in the game, and he's not honestly taking you out of it. So as a quarterback, or actually as a coach, that's what you want your quarterback to do, is not kill you in the games. And if the opportunity strikes, go ahead and help you win the game.
Zeno, you starting in August, you've been carrying the Steelers flag from the jump. What have you seen?
I've seen an offense that, as DG said, it's not going to wow you. I never said it was going to wow you, but it's going to be effective enough and consistent enough to win games when it has to. And that's really what this boils down to here. You mentioned the Smith family before. Arthur Smith is the coordinator in Pittsburgh. Still one of the better offensive minds in this league. I'll stand by that. I'll die on that hill 5 times over. This is a good situation for Pittsburgh. Again, I think they only continue to get better. And as long as they keep winning games in the early part of the year against some of these lesser teams, when they get to be the better version of themselves in November, December, they'll be ready for better competition.
And Raphael, we may want to fade some of their totals as far as props. They did not have one receiver with over 34 yards yesterday.
Yeah, their offense was stagnant, but I was a little bit more impressed on how well their defense finally played, holding Patriots at home to 14 points. So maybe that's a little uptick for their defense to play much better.
Now, Pittsburgh, by the way, they are home to Minnesota this week, and then they get a bye week in week number 5, because that game, I'm looking at my clock. Why does it start at 9:30? Oh, yeah, they're traveling overseas. Ugh. And Minnesota, they're going to be there for 2 weeks. First time a team's ever played, I believe, in 2 different countries.
Two different countries.
Yes, 2 different countries.
Okay, because the Jaguars play back-to-back London games.
Exactly. Let me handle it. We're back live in 5 seconds. We're halfway home, having a good time on a Monday here, a full day. We'll be on the air live tonight till 8 o'clock Eastern time with a ton of different shows. If you don't know, now you know. We have Coach Company, the podcast, 11:15 a.m. Eastern time. Then we got Off the Ropes at 2. We got weekday wagers at 2. We have Coach and Bro at 5. Then we have the Monday Night Grind tonight from 7 to 8 o'clock Eastern time. Easiest thing to do, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, and every time we start a show, ding, you will know. Or you can just listen to our chat queen, Kimberly, handle the business in the chat as well. Raphael, I need to see that face, because tonight, Monday Night Football, it's a big one. It's the Lions. It's the Ravens. Give me something to sink my teeth into.
2 books have the Lions +4, meaning Baltimore's -4. And it's very interesting because FanDuel has 5.5 on the Ravens. I think Ravens money will come in. Lions money came in all weekend. That's just telling me that I think they're just expecting Ravens money to come in. So grab the 4, grab the 4.5 now. Would not shock me if this closes at a solid 5.
So far, the Ravens have scored at least 40 points, by the way, in their first 2 games. I believe you were on the team total, correct? Today?
That is correct. 29.5.
29.5. That's a high team total. But the Lions defense stinks.
I'm just hoping I see a better Monday night game than we saw last week with 2 Monday night games that didn't even hit the total of 40 probably.
I also know Mikey P hit the Legends Lounge last week, and that kind of upset you a little bit.
Why do you have to mention that? It's you can mention it tonight, not today in the morning. Now I got to think about it all afternoon. Thanks.
Like you weren't already. Raphael will be a part of the team tonight on the Monday Night Grind alongside Mikey P. And I don't know how Tommy C is what kind of a mood he's going to be in tonight after my Chiefs beat his Giants last night to push them to 0-3. All right, Raphael, my man, I appreciate you very, very much. All right, it's never too early, especially on a Monday. Let's kick it off. Lions and the Ravens. We're going to piggyback Zeno starts, DG, and then my man Big Chuck brings it home. We'll start with the game itself. Here are the numbers. These we got over at BetMGM. Zeno, right now the Ravens favored by 4.5. The total sitting at 53.5. If you want to play the money line, you can do that too. Your original take, go.
Lamar Jackson 7-2 Monday Night Football. Ravens 24-2 with Lamar Jackson at quarterback against the NFC. I don't think the Lions are winning this one.
See, I disagree with that actually, because I know everybody's on the Ravens, but I think this Lions team had a really bad week 1. But then we saw what they could do week 2. And I think that number that we're getting, the 4.5, I think is a great spot because this could be easily a field goal game on either side. But I think that we get a upset, plus 195 for the Detroit Lions.
And I'm going to have to, where are we at?
Just start talking. Chuck, you're good. Just go.
I'm gonna have to disagree with my man D to the G. The Ravens, they actually come in 8-1 at home their last 9. Plus, get this, they're 5-0 straight up against the Lions at home. They come in 6-2 ATS. I think we'll probably see some points, even though once it gets to that 53, probably people are going to start looking towards that under. I'm liking Rafi's team total. Maybe even see if you can get it live. Maybe they don't score on the first possession or two, get it down. But yeah, I'm thinking the Ravens roll in this one.
This will undoubtedly be one of the higher totals of the entire year. Anytime you have a 5 next to a total, that's a high number. 53.5, that's a high number. Raphael said it could close around 54, 55. We'll update on weekday wagers today and, of course, tonight on the Monday Night Grind. All right, let's hit on quarterbacks because this is a big-time matchup, and it is Jared Goff, who had a gigantic game a week ago. They scored 52 against the Bears. And then you got Lamar Jackson, who continues to prove he is MVP quality. But for him, he's just like Josh Allen now. It is Super Bowl because he's done everything else. Here are all the numbers. Zeno, I'm going to start with you again. Anything pop off to you here?
Lamar Jackson passing yards over. This is a Detroit Lions secondary that allows the opponents to have a 67% completion rate on deep ball passing. Also, Lamar Jackson's rushing yards. Have you seen Lamar Jackson's numbers in primetime when he runs the football? Always going over for a big audience.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite side there for Jared Goff. I like the over 34.5 passing attempts. I think that's a good spot to be in because no matter what the game script could be, I think that the opportunity is set there at Jared Goff having to throw the ball. I don't see Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery honestly getting through that line and rushing for a lot. Because of that, I think he has to throw a lot. So 35 pass attempts is right there for us.
And I'm going to go with Goff. His passing yards over. He's actually averaging 280 to start the season. So I'm liking that over. And I expect the Lions to be down and be in passing situations. And Lamar, I'm actually liking his under passing yards. He's only averaging 217 per game to come in. And in rushing, yeah, absolutely agree with Zeno. 41.5 per game. Love the rushing for Lamar to go over.
Yeah, right now his number over at BetMGM is 45.5. You got to drop 3 nickels to play it. But that feels pretty good to me. I think that's going to be probably a bet that I'm going to make. By the way, Jared Goff, I'm leaning way into him in our premium picks today. If you guys are around for that extra episode, I love Goff today. All right, let's go to the ground because you've got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's dynamic. You got Derrick Henry, who's still pissed off that he fumbled against the Bills, or they would be 2-0. Zeno, what do you see here?
Derrick Henry's rushing numbers in prime time are very good going over this number. Again, I like Jahmyr Gibbs in the passing game a lot more than the running game here. When you talk about the Ravens' pressure and quick dump-offs, Gibbs will be the benefactor of that.
Okay, so I'm going to fade, obviously, Derrick Henry a lot in this game, but the one thing I do like for him is the longest rush to go over the 18.5. I don't think he's going to have a ton of usage in this game, but I do think that he gets off loose at least one time, if not 2, and it goes for 19 yards or more.
And I'm liking Derrick Henry, the rushing yards over. I think the Ravens are going to get back to the rush after what the Browns did to them. They'll have more focus on that. Plus, Lions are averaging 106 rushing yards through the first 2 weeks. I like Jahmyr Gibbs rushing yards under. I think he'll probably be more of a focus in the passing game, so I would look at his as far as on the passing side.
Real quick, Zeno, as we stay here for a second, Derrick Henry, we've got a little burying the lead here because Dan Patrick offered him a role in an Adam Sandler movie if he goes over 2,000 yards. He started with 177. And I joke that he's motivated by that, but he's actually motivated by that. He very much wants this. Will they give him tonight if they build up a big lead? Will this be Derrick Henry, feed me more?
Yeah. I mean, listen, in 3 primetime games last year, he had over 185 yards in 2 of them. So this is where he absolutely eats. I mean, this is what the Ravens do. And so if Henry is not running, the Ravens are in trouble. He's got to be a big part of what they do, and they're not going to not give him the ball when they need to move the chains.
God, I love that longest rush too, DG. I just feel like inside 2 minutes, they're playing the deep 2, and all of a sudden, Derek just runs up for 20 or 25 yards to set up a field goal. Love that thought too. All right, let's flip it over now to the wideouts. And these two guys could absolutely eat tonight. Amon-Ra St. Brown is everything you want in a superstar. He kept his mouth shut, he got his bag, and he continues to show out. Zay Flowers, very, very underrated as a dynamic wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. There are their numbers over at BetMGM. Zeno, what do you see?
The problem with taking any of the Ravens receivers tonight for yardage is that the Lions secondary is so bad, Lamar's going to have a ton of options, and you just don't know which way he's going to go. And that really kind of worries me about focusing on one individual guy. I gave out the DeAndre Hopkins longest reception prop, but that kind of fits it to a different category than just looking at a receiving yards over. It could be anybody. It depends on who's open and who the Lions secondary isn't covering. So makes it a tough play.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown here, going over the longest reception of 21.5. I think if you look at this Ravens team, they want to force you into these short passes, but obviously you have to continuously try to take the top off to kind of get them out of that 8-man front. And so because of that, they've allowed the longest reception to wide receiver 1 in the first 2 weeks to go over the 21.5. I expect that Amon-Ra St. Brown has a great game. That receiving yards is a little big for me, but I do like the longest reception.
And I'm liking the receiving yards to go over both. I think St. Brown will be a little bit tighter, but Zay Flowers has definitely become the number one. He's averaging 109 yards per game to start the season, and receptions 5.5. He's got 7 receptions in each game, so I'd also look at the receptions for Mr. Zay Flowers.
2 quick questions. DG, tell me that stat again about the longest reception, please.
Yeah, the longest reception, the first 2 games, they've allowed, actually it's 25 or more yards from wide receiver number 1, the longest reception, 25 plus.
And Zay Flowers loves that long go across the field play that always is deeper than 25 yards. Zeno, as far as catches, what's a number that you feel uncomfortable when it gets there? 6.5, 7.5, something like that. Is 6.5 too much for you?
For my blood, yeah. I mean, I would never bet over 5.5. It's just the requisite target share has to be there on a basis. For a guy to get to 7, you got to be talking about double digits targets on a consistent basis.
And Coach, on that one, I think that like a number that big is great for live betting because that number has to fall. And because of that, you do fall into that happy area for you, whether it's over 4.5 or 5.5, whatever it might be. So that's the perfect time to wait for a live bet because he's not going to catch 4 passes in the first quarter for the most part. So that should fall.
Let me ask you, anybody can answer this because I don't have, so my book is offshore because I live in California. Is most books have live prop betting? Almost all of them?
Yes, all do.
Offshore ones do as well.
They do? Okay. Mine does not have, I love my book, but they don't have live prop betting.
Call me, I'll hook you up.
Thank you. Okay. I have a feeling you're going to be asking me about those soccer plays too. Oh, by the way, you got any soccer plays today? Big Chuck, we're going to reveal our secrets right here live on the show, me and you. Next level soccer cappers.
I like Chuck's. He kind of termed the MLS as the gold mine, where it's kind of lays low and is always underneath, just like a coal mine. I love that analogy.
They're so much fun to watch, and they're always the nighttime games here in the States. I'm telling you, MLS is where it's at. MLS, and they got to do for LAFC. He scored 3 times last night. He's a banger. First player ever to have 4 straight seasons of 20 goals or more. How about that for a little nugget? Chuck?
Next level.
You're so right. Coming up on the other side, 2 devastating injuries to 2 of the all-time good dudes in the NFL. We'll discuss that on the other side. Having a great day. It's a Monday, a ton to talk about. It's Coach and Company presented by the 4-letter word club. The Ryder Cup is this Friday. We don't have enough time. We're live on Stadium. Come on back on the other side. All right, we continue on, and we haven't even mentioned, guys, last night in the Meadowlands, in the shadows of New York City. It wasn't pretty at all, but the Chiefs do win. They win by 13. They cover, but Zeno, that's about all you could say about that game. And the fact that I said Jackson Dart would be starting by week 5, I might be right.
The Chiefs stink. That's not a good football team. Like, I don't know how you as a Chiefs fan can objectively look at that team and go, we're fine. We're good. They stink. They're not good. Like, I mean, their offense is as inept as the Houston Texans. And what does that tell you? Like, if you don't have, if there was a different name on the back of the 15 jersey, we would look at this team in a whole light, a whole different light.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Because him running around because he's got no protection for 5 minutes and then beating a bad Giant secondary and Phillips, who mauled every receiver he can get his hands on all night last night. Congratulations. We should be really bad.
Hey, DG, tread lightly. Do you agree with Zeno?
I do. And Coach, I'll just give you a heads up. Do not go watch the Sunday night halftime show because we laid into that game. It was disgusting. It took them forever just to get to halftime, but it just looks like there's something missing. I know Xavier Worthy's not playing, also Rashee Rice. They're going to get those toys back for Mahomes, but it just looks like they're missing something. We have Kelsey now yelling at Andy Reid. Who knows?
Well, Kelsey needs to understand that he can't run anymore. He's slow. And by the way, you don't have to worry about me going back and watching that show. I can promise you I will not. Big Chuck, your thoughts on the Chiefs?
If it was any other team, the Chiefs would have got backdoored. That's just how bad the Giants were. I think they had 3 chances to backdoor the Chiefs, and they couldn't even do that. That's how terrible it was. I think that sequence of Russell Wilson from the inside the 5 right there was some of the worst I've ever seen. So Jackson Dart, I see it in the future.
The only thing worse was the Cowboys from the 1. That was the only thing worse than Russell Wilson last night. And watching the head coach for the Giants, Dayball, is hilarious to me because everything's on his face. He's like, we suck. Russell sucks. What am I doing? I'm out of here after this year. We're back live in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Coach and Company here on Stadium and Bally Sports Live. Busy day. We'll have Lock It In coming up in about 5 minutes. We're going to have 5 straight winning days. I feel it, and it starts today, so make sure you have your paper and your pencil. But quick topic, Raphael, I'm going to start with you because whenever you're a running back and they don't get paid, Saquon and Derek, they finally got paid. Felt like things were shifting. But then things happened like yesterday, and this is why running backs don't get paid. James Conner, everybody loves him. Captain for the Arizona Cardinals. Goes down, severe ankle injury, out for the year. Najee Harris, who now plays for the Chargers. You could see his Achilles literally tear through the socket. It popped. And I was like, damn, all happened 2 late games yesterday. Both guys probably careers over because they're north of 30. What did you make of these 2 devastating injuries?
Both former Steeler running backs too. That was pretty much shocked me as well. But it's just seeing Conner go down. I agree. I'm like, holy cow! I am never going to see him in the backfield again because that was just brutal. That was disgusting. It was a horrible scene to see.
Normally, you don't come back, Zeno, and it wasn't like it was so disgusting to look at, like a dislocation or a cracked leg. But just watching it pop like that, it really kind of affected me a little bit. And Najee Harris, who's just coming back from a fireworks eye injury, you knew immediately what had happened.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think Najee Harris has a very good chance to rebound. He's only 27, and he's in a very select category of running backs who have gone over 1,000 yards the first 4 years in their career. You're talking about like Danian Tomlinson type category. So he's not used that way in this Chargers offense, but the Chargers now have a real hole without Najee because he was spelling Amari Hampton. He's still a good blocker, and he's very good in the passing game. So bigger hit than what people are giving credit for the Chargers.
And I hope he comes back. I really, really do. When you're in a position, DG, where you need to be quick, where you need to move back and forth, the Achilles is one of the worst injuries that you can have if you're a wide receiver or if you are a running back. But I certainly hope he's able to come back. Your thoughts?
Yeah, even though we're developing within, all this where we're looking at the Achilles in a different way and maybe restructuring it differently, it's still tough because once that fast twitch muscles, once they're gone, they are gone. It's hard to come back from it. And so that's really what we're looking at is the jump cuts, being able to hit the lines real quick or hit the holes real quick. That's where we're going to see these running backs struggle. But they're going to have to take a step back when they come back. There's no way that either one of them will get into be a lead back next season for sure.
Well, James Conner, I could see him coaching when he gets done because they were talking yesterday, Big Chuck, on the telecast about what a leader he is. He's a captain on this football team. He had cancer before he came into the league when he was in college. So this is more than just losing a player on the field for a Cardinals team that's 2-1, and honestly, they should be 3-0.
Mr. Connor, he has definitely overcome some obstacles in his career. But the first thing I thought about when I saw that was the Nick Chubb. He come back, but he's never been the same. But I think he's probably a little bit older. And then with Najee, those Achilles, that's the first thing we're looking for now is that pop. As sick as that sounds, that's the first thing we look for. And we automatically know that's how common they are. So hopefully they come back and get back to playing and have speedy recoveries.
Raphael?
Look for some teams calling the Saints because they have a running back that can probably fill some holes. And we saw what the Saints looked like yesterday.
Well, Big Chuck, you don't want to lose your guys, but you may have already lost them, if you know what I mean. 44-13. Ouch. All right. It's a big day of best bets. I hate when I have to lead the charge. I was 3-1 yesterday. I feel really good about it. But it's all about what did you do for me lately? All my guys are fired up and ready to go. Let's lock it in. All right, 10 seconds or less, 1 or 2 nuggets is all that I need. Look at that glorious screen that I'm staring at right now. DG, you're at the top. Start us off.
Let's fade Derrick Henry tonight. We're going to go under the 18.5 rushing attempts. I just think this number's a little too big and the game script doesn't flow his direction. And then we're going to go with Sam Laporta over the 43.5 receiving yards at -113. I could see a huge night at a tight end 1 for the Detroit Lions.
Tight end number 1. Big Chuck, give me a little Turkey Super League.
Day soccer, shall we say, Galatasaray, Konyaspor, and with Galatasaray averaging 2.5 team goals at home and Konyaspor 2.4 team goals on the road, I'll go ahead and back both teams to score. And then that little MLB night action, Cardinals, Giants, we have the wind blowing out in this total, going over in 8 of their last 11 meetings. I'll back the over 8 in the Bay.
And I will go next because I also like that Giants game tonight, Big Chuck. But I like the Giants on the money line -145. A little juicy, I get it. But the Giants are still highly motivated. They close the season out with 6 home games, 3 against Cardinals, 3 against Colorado. And then the Brewers, you're giving me Freddie Peralta plus money. I'm taking him every single time. They still have something to play for. Best record in the league. That matters so much. So much. Take the Brewers tonight in San Diego, one of 3 games on the docket. Raphael, you're up.
We have the Ravens team total over 29.5. I would even look at the 30.5 because it's plus money at 30.5. They've hit this number 7 out of 6 Monday Night Football games. I think this one easily hits tonight. And then give him Jahmyr Gibbs over 23.5 receiving yards. This would open up at 26.5. Don't understand a 3-yard line drop. This one has hit 7 out of 8. I think the screen game is going to be huge for Detroit tonight.
All right, we have a little synergy with my man Zeno. You're up.
Yeah, I'll start with Jahmyr Gibbs again, over 3.5 receptions. The Ravens have allowed 8 receptions to running backs in week 1. They allowed 5 receptions to James Cook in week 2. Gibbs are going to be a big part of the passing game here with the Ravens' pressure. And then we'll go to DeAndre Hopkins, longest reception, over 13.5 yards. He's only caught 4 balls through the first 2 games. 3 of them have gone over this number. The Lions struggle in deep coverage, allowing a 67% completion percentage on deep ball passing.
Yeah, his number's only 19.5. So the books feel like this is going to be it. 1 long catch, and that's all we need, big boys. That's all we need. All right, where do we go next? How about our JTS play of the day? Marky Model.
You got it. We're going to start with St. Louis Cardinal Pedro Pages to go over 1 hit, run, or RBI. We don't care what stat it is, just as long as he gets one. He's done this in 7 of his last 7 games and been over in 10 of his last 11 road games. We're going to pair that with Jared Goff to throw for at least 220 passing yards today. He's done this in 12 straight games where he's averaging over 300 passing yards in those games. Put them both together, you get a plus 112. Just Stat Sports play of the day.
And for you novice bettors out there, that is an alt line. So a lot of books will do it. It's an alt line. Bring it down from 260 to 220. You want to be a part of JTS? Scan that QR code. Use our code NFL100 for a month. It only costs you $1. You'll get all the numbers because this is a data-driven thing that we do on the daily. All right, we know that the Eagles wanted to make sure that Raphael's inside info continued to be a hit. And it is. So, Raphael, make me a small time.
Need to mention this. One more book just moved the total to 54 as Coach was speaking. But this one, Lamar Jackson has recorded 52 plus rushing yards in 7 out of the Baltimore Ravens' last 8 Monday Night Football games as a favorite.
Wow. At least 52. And his number tonight, Raphael, is 45.
I'm blown away. Shocked that it's 45.
If somebody does not have this, you know what? I'm going to make it a best bet tonight on Monday Night Grind. I'm going to make it a best bet. I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of our plays tonight. All right. Real quick, 10 seconds. Zeno, give me a score for tonight's game.
Ravens 34, Lions 20.
Okay, over comes in. DG.
Lions 31, Ravens 28.
Okay, comes in. Chuck.
Ravens 31, Lions 24.
All right. Everybody thinks the over is coming in right around that number. Raphael?
Ravens 36, Lions 30. We're going to see tons of points tonight.
Oh, everything's over. And what does the model say over there, Marky?
Ravens minus 4.5. And they like actually the over.
Okay. Very good. Minus 4.5 and the over. As Chuck likes to say, correlated. All right. Give me that one shot. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Monday tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire company. Love them all. My man Zeno, DG, Big Chuck, Raphael, Marky Model, producer man, always behind the scenes. Mikey P helping out as always. I am the coach. Just trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. That's what we're all about every single day. It's Coaching Company, presented by the 4-Letter Word Club, live on Stadium and Valley Sports Live. Have a great day.